Most people confuse ego with confidence. They think ego means arrogance. They think confidence means strength. But ego is not strength. Ego is protection. Ego is what appears when self-worth is unstable. When you don't truly trust your value, you start defending it, you compare, you prove, you explain, you justify. That is ego. Ego is always busy because it is always afraid of being questioned. True self-worth doesn't need defense. It doesn't argue. It doesn't compete. It doesn't explain itself. It simply exists. Look at how ego shows up. Ego wants to be right. Ego wants recognition. Ego wants to win arguments. Ego wants to be seen as intelligent, successful, special. Not because those things are bad, but because ego is terrified of being insignificant. So it keeps building an image. Now look at self-worth. Self-worth doesn't need to dominate conversations. It doesn't need to interrupt. It doesn't need applause. A person with self-worth can listen without shrinking and speak without attacking. That's the difference. Now look at how ego exhausts people. People with strong egos are often tired. They are constantly managing perception. They are constantly reacting. They are constantly measuring. Even success doesn't relax them because ego doesn't want peace, it wants control. Now look at relationships. Ego turns relationships into power struggles. Who apologizes first? Who is right? Who has more leverage? Self-worth turns relationships into cooperation. A person with self-worth can say, I was wrong, without feeling diminished, because their value doesn't depend on winning. Now look at work and achievement. Ego ties worth to performance. So failure feels like a personal attack. Feedback feels like insult. Rest feels like weakness. Self-worth separates effort from identity. You can fail without collapsing. You can improve without humiliation. You can rest without guilt. Now look at money and success. Ego wants symbols, status, validation. Self-worth wants sufficiency. Enough to live honestly. Enough to move freely. Enough to sleep peacefully. That's why ego is never satisfied, and self-worth usually is. Now look at trading and decision making. Ego wants to be right. Self-worth wants to be aligned. Ego overtrades to prove skill. Ego holds losers to avoid embarrassment. Ego takes revenge trades. Self-worth follows process even when nobody is watching. That's why consistency comes from self-worth, not confidence. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't have big egos. They have fragile self-worth. Ego is not the enemy. It is a symptom. It shows you where self-worth is missing. Awareness plays a subtle role here. It notices when you are defending instead of expressing, when you are proving instead of sharing, when you are reacting instead of responding. Not to kill ego, not to fight it, just to see it clearly. When self-worth grows, ego relaxes naturally. You don't need to announce confidence. People feel it. You don't need to dominate. You become grounded. You don't need to impress. You become present. Ego is loud because it is afraid. Self-worth is quiet because it knows it doesn't need permission to exist.